watching Vault Business Podcast. We are here to give you great information and insight in the world of business. Today, I have two special guests. I have somebody that actually work at our office at Big Valley Mortgage. So this is going to be a little bit about mortgage. It's going to be a little bit about our history. It's going to be a little bit about how we came together as a team. And today what I have is actually a cousin of mine, Johnny Gonzalez, and we have Reece Recillas. They work here as loan officers at Big Valley Mortgage. So they help our clients purchase homes. So the skill level that they have to reach out to clients and help them through the purchase transaction process is second to none. They've done a great job picking this up. For me, I've always prided myself in making sure that I'm not old and slow, and these guys definitely keep me young and keep me striving for more and doing more for our clients and, our business. So to get into this, so we're going to go back a little bit on how they came to be here at Big Valley Mortgage. And Johnny, we're going to go back all the way when you actually worked at Verizon. So what year did you start working at Verizon, man?
Dang, I want to say it was like 2019.
In 2019? Yeah. So did you get out of high school and then you just started working at Verizon, or how did you get the job at Verizon?
So at first, I basically started with like teaching drumline.
Okay.
That's what I did in high school, so it was easy to just graduate and then teach the drumline, After that, I went into Cricket Wireless.
Okay.
Because I knew there was more opportunity out there. So I went to go check it out, I was like, let me go learn something. Let me go see what else I can do, right?
Uh-huh.
So I went to Cricket. It was a little tough at first. Reason for that was because I understood Spanish, but I didn't really know Spanish. And about 80% of my clients there were like Spanish speakers. Right, so it got tough at first, but it was just an obstacle I had to overcome. And I would say I learned Spanish there,
Now, would you say that most of your sales skills did come from working at Verizon?
I would say some of them, yes, but I kind of already had a little bit of experience with Cricket.
Uh-huh.
And then I went to Nissan from there, so I learned a little bit more there. And then they all kind of just went hand in hand together with the customer service and the sales skills.
Gotcha. Now, you and Reece actually met at Verizon, right?
Yeah. Actually, I was on tour. They had me in the Bay Area, like in Hollister, Sand City, stuff like that, because they were opening a new store out there and they needed us to go out and train. So that's actually where I met Reece, was in the Hollister.
So it wasn't in this general area. You guys actually met somewhere else, huh?
Yeah, actually in the Hollister store is where we met. I was working a shift out there, and then he was a new hire. So he just came in, and that's where we hit it off.
Now, you guys took to each other like right off the bat, or did you like Reece, or did you not like Reece, or how did that work out?
Well, at first, we just went in there with the training mindset. Like, we didn't really go to like make friends, We kind of just went in there like, hey, this is who we are. We're from Madera. This is how we push our products. Like, this is our pitch that we use, and he already kind of had his experience through Sprint. So he kind of had his own little, flow. But he was definitely open to hearing us out and seeing how we would pitch,
Gotcha.
So it was cool. At first, he was a little quiet, but he started to like open up to us more, and eventually he liked us more, I would say, than the Bay Area people. I don't know if that's true or not, but the reason why I say that is because eventually he ended up moving over to the Madera location where we work,
gotcha. Now, Reece, you actually are from the Hollister area, right?
Yeah, so originally started working, I didn't even start working at Verizon. I started at Sprint first.
Okay.
And then from Sprint, I started working at the Hollister location for Verizon. And yeah, like he said, they're basically the little group of people training us, and I learned from him and a couple of other guys. And then eventually, from Verizon, I ended up joining the same group that he was in that would travel to like different stores and stuff.
Here in Madera, or you guys were just a traveling group?
It was basically just a traveling group. The first place they sent me out to was Bakersfield. So I went from Bakersfield, and I went to Oakland, San Jose. We did, like you said, Sand City. So we were basically all over the place. Some of the guys went to like LA and other places. So.
Okay, gotcha. Now, how did you, when you met Johnny, did you guys like take to each other because you guys were from the Valley, or how did that work out?
Honestly, because he came in with a group of people and they were a little cocky at first. So me, I was like, damn, it's kind of
in that fault.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a red flag, but at the end of the day, it was just like they knew what they were doing, and they were brought to that specific store because that store was struggling.
So don't get it twisted, bro.
It made sense.
There's cockiness and then there's confidence.
No, that's true.
Right. So you guys started working with each other. You guys took, to each other, and then you moved to the store that he worked at, right?
Yeah, so once I stopped, I basically worked at like, I want to say maybe like 10 different locations for Verizon, just opening up new places and working in different stores. And when it was finally like done, I was like, all right, I'm ready to go to a store. They told me like, where do you want to go? I was like, you know what, like those Madera guys are pretty cool. Like,
so you decided to come to Madera?
Yeah. No, I actually fought for it. Like I had to threaten to quit for them to be okay with Madera.
Wow. Dude, it's very rare that somebody quits somewhere else to come to Madera. So I mean, you went to like the booth.
It was a good group of people, and they sold really well, but they also had fun.
Okay.
In places, it was either we screwed around and we had fun, or we had good sales.
Gotcha.
And Madera was that good mixture of it all.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, you have a good group of people, young guys that are actually selling and doing things and having fun along the way. I mean, of course, that's, you want to be a part of that. So that is awesome. Now, Reece, I know that, you have a sales background, but did you learn most of your sales skills from Verizon, from Sprint, or did you already have like a mentorship along the way, man?
Man, I want to say that it came from Sprint. I mean, that was my first sales job.
Okay.
But yeah, honestly, I had a variety of different people that were there. I learned different styles of selling and just basically figured out what worked for me. And then once it came down to it, I basically just figured out that it's all really about communications, listening to people, getting the problem out of the way, like acknowledging the problem, getting through that. So once I started learning that, it was a lot simpler for me to just be like, all right, this isn't a sale. This is more of a conversation.
Correct.
The sale is just a byproduct of that conversation.
That's absolutely great. That's great that you mentioned that. Yeah, because like even my sales skills is not so much I'm going to sell you something. It's like, hey, let me find out what a problem is. Let me be the solutions guy. And through the solution, I actually get them to understand like, hey, this is good for you. I put everything in front of them, and then the client actually makes the decision. We don't make the decision. We just give them great information. And then from there, they make the decision to purchase something or not. So that's actually great. Now, I do want to tell a little story about how we actually came to be, Johnny, because of course, as being family, we would go to the family functions. And I would always see you as a little kid. I was, I'm older than you, of course. And I would see you as a little kid. And then like years later, I actually had a problem with my phone. Like I was not getting the voicemail, to the phone. I ended up buying this phone on eBay. I really don't like buying phones at the stores. I bought it off of eBay. I couldn't get the voicemails to work. I go to Verizon with my son, and my son's probably like 2 or 3. Okay.
So probably like 4, no?
Was it like 4?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it was a little bit.
He was, he was right around 2 to 4, and like as soon as I walk in, dude, I see it, I'm like, that's family right there. Like I'm going to him, right?
Yeah.
And right off the bat, I'm already telling my son, dude, this is your cousin. This is your cousin. And there's a picture of you guys that you guys took that day with my son. So I think that was the like infancy stage of you and my son hanging out and being together. Like he still remembers that even as a young kid. Like he remembers that, man. So it's always been a picture that we have that we saved, like that we reconnected. So even though we're family in business, like it's still like we know we're family. Like you gravitate to each other. Would you agree?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like you said, I know we were kind of distant. Like we would go to the family functions here and there, but it had been a little while. But as soon as you walked in, I knew right away you were family.
Yeah, we were family.
And I wanted to help you. Like I knew, you had that issue, and I was like, dude, I gotta help this guy. It's my family right here,
By the way, you didn't fix my phone.
I didn't. No, I didn't.
Yeah, you couldn't.
But the problem was that it wasn't a Verizon phone, so it wasn't working with the Verizon voicemail software. And so
that's what it was. Yeah. So since I bought the phone from eBay, Verizon didn't have nothing to do it. It was probably like back then, like you could actually jailbreak phones and do different things with them. So it was probably an AT&T phone that I was trying to hook up to Verizon, so it just didn't work. But what I will tell you is that like years later, and it wasn't too long ago. Like, how long have you been with Big Valley Mortgage now?
A little over 2 years now.
2 years. Okay.
Yep.
So a little over 2 years ago, like, I remember actually talking to your mom, and we were in the infancy stage of starting a credit repair. And I told your mom, I said, hey, I'm looking for somebody to help me with this, new business. and she mentioned you. You actually came in, and do you remember that conversation?
I do, yeah. Like I was happy with Verizon, but I felt like I was comfortable, and I felt like I wasn't really gonna grow, you know. And I wanted to see what else was out there. I knew there was more out there. So obviously, you know, seeing my mom, I see how successful she is. I see her with her businesses, and I'm just like, dude, like I can't get comfortable. Like I gotta do something different. So my mom knew that, you know, you guys had that conversation. So she's like, son, like we found an opportunity, let's jump on it, you know?
Right.
So sure enough, I went, I talked to you, like I liked your vibes, you know, I trusted you. So I was willing to go and try this out.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man, it's just that credit repair stuff wasn't really for me, you know, like we had talked about.
Right.
I just didn't like the fact, or the whole, like being in the gray, you know, sending out the disputes and having my fingers crossed that the bureaus were going to release stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that obviously didn't end up working out. And I remember I was already kind of thinking about, you know, what else is next? Like, this might not work for me. I know me and Jose had these plans, but I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. You know,
Right.
like I don't want to do credit repair, right? So I called you, right? I was like, man,
I knew them. I didn't write it when you called me, dude. I already.
Well, no, I texted you.
Oh, that's right. You did.
Yeah, I was like, hey, bro, like you trying to have some lunch or something, dude?
Yeah.
And you're like, what the hell? Johnny never takes me to lunch.
Right.
So right away you call me, and I'm like, oh damn, like all right, here we go, breakup call, you know, here we go.
Right.
So I answer it, and I tell you, you know, like, hey, bro, like this isn't it, like I don't like this, and right away you're just like, whoa, like what do you mean? Like this is all kind of new to me, like I didn't even know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's because I've been trying, but it's just not it, you know. So I told you, I was like, my brother's working at Cintas, like they already said they're willing to take me in, like I kind of already had a backup plan, right?
Right.
And you're like, bro, like that's not you, dude. Like right away you shut that down. You're like, dude, that's not you, bro. Like, are you really gonna work a factory job? Are you really gonna get up at 4 a.m. and, you know, sweat and get your hands dirty and do all that crap and work these hard hours to get paid hourly, you know? And I thought about it. I sat back and I was like, damn, like, you know what, he's right. And I knew what I knew already. I didn't want to waste that knowledge, right? So you told me, you said, why don't you consider being a loan officer? And I never even had thought about that.
Right. I remember that conversation. I was sitting in my truck, we're having this conversation, and I'm like, dude, just be a loan officer.
Yeah.
Like, you study, get your license and become a loan officer. Like, we can, you know, do this together. I already had been, you know, doing, you know, mortgage loan officer for many years. I was like, I'll teach you what I know.
Yeah.
Like, the system is already here for you to actually, you know, thrive and to become something within the business that we're already in,
Right.
you know? And not only that, like, you have to understand, when you help somebody purchase a home, it's at another level, man. Not only are you helping them purchase a home, but like they're in gratitude of you helping them. Like, you know, this is a big step in somebody's life. For you to come in and help somebody, you know, achieve home ownership, it's huge. So yes, you know, we help people every single day, but at the end of the day, our servant mentality of getting somebody to the next level in their life is huge. It's huge. Now, what I would tell you is that not long after that, like, you had called me, you're like, hey, I have a guy from Verizon that's uber smart. He actually wants to come in and meet you. Do you remember that, Reece?
I do remember that. I had already left Verizon. Same thing, once he left, a couple other buddies ended up leaving. So that group that I had originally came for to be around, like, they were basically all gone. So I was like, all right, you know what, like, it's time. I was also working with my brother. He owns Swift Energy, the solar company.
Yeah.
So working with him already, I was like, you know what, let me make the transition. Let me go do solar full time. I'm basically just kicking the can over here, wasting hours.
Right.
So it became easy. I went to go do that. And then Johnny called me and he's like, hey, like, you know, there's this job. I feel like you're going to like it, blah, blah, blah. Just talking it up. And he was doing credit repair. So
That's right.
I was going to come in to do some type of credit repair. So at first I was like, you know what? Like, let me think about it, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, like, let me go in.
Yeah.
And that's...
And so this guy comes in, and no lie, like, my first reaction, and we'll talk about after he left, but I was like, this guy's smart. This guy's really, really smart. I can see the talent. I can see the wheels spinning. Like, I see some sales skills, but he is like not smiling whatsoever. They're like, he's like arrogant. I don't know if it was arrogance or if it was like, you know, extreme confidence or what it was. But I remember him leaving, and I was like, hey, Johnny, I like him. He's uber smart. I believe he can do this, but can he take direction? That's the question. That's the question. And what'd you say?
I told you, I was like, you know what, I see what you're saying, and I feel like he can. You know, I had to work with him at Verizon, you know, so like, I seen him come in a little coachable there. even already having that sprint background, he was still willing to, hear us out and see what we were doing over here,
Right.
So I mentioned that to you, and I'm like, I see where you're coming from, but just give him a shot. Give him a shot. It's gonna take him a little bit of time to open up. Like he comes in with the guard up a little bit at first, but eventually, once he gets to know us, then he's gonna be cool, right? And that's where we're at.
So he leaves that meeting, and I'm like, hey man, you gotta pass your test. Like, I can't hire you. You gotta pass your test. Like, if you pass your test, I'll give you a shot. So I want to say maybe for like 2 months, 2 or 3 months.
That part right there for me, like leaving that meeting, I was just kind of like, damn, like I don't want to say that it felt like, oh, they don't want you here, but when you said like, oh, you got to get the test for me to even be able to hire you, I was like, damn, like, oh, all right, like I guess I'll just go get this test then. And I started looking into it, and I was like, damn, like this is a lot. So I know I put it on pause for like 3 months. I was like, let me just not even like peek at it for a second. And then I went on a birthday trip. Me and a couple of buddies went to Miami.
Okay.
And in that Miami trip, like I'm looking at all those properties, stuff like that. I'm like, I want to get into real estate. And I was like, it kind of, I'll just click together. And I was like, you know what? Like, let's do it. Came back July. I studied all of August. And then in September, I passed the test.
That's crazy. Let me tell you why. Because like people study for months to pass this test, the NMLS test. And this guy comes back from Miami. He studies for a couple months, and then like he passes, right? So I remember like he called me and he's like, "Hey man, I passed my test." Like it was nothing. Like it was nothing. Like like what was it?
I sent him a picture of it. I was like, "Yo, like, in it, like, what's up?
What's that?" Yeah, Jose. And it was not even a big deal to you. You're like, "Yeah, I passed my test." Like
I remember telling you though, you were shocked. Like you were like, I guess you telling him like go get licensed was like your test to see like, are you about it?
Right.
Yeah, you want to do this, but are you really about it, right? Like, are you gonna do what it takes to get licensed? Like I'm not gonna hold your hand. Like, let's see if you're about it, right?
Right.
And then that day, I literally walked up to you and I was like, Jose, check it out. And I saw your eyes get wide, bro. You were just like, holy shit, like he actually did it.
He did it.
And I'm like, yeah, he did it, bro. Like he said he was gonna do it. He did it.
Look, to be honest with you guys, you know how many people come into my office? They're like, hey, I want to do what I want to be in LO. Like I want to be in LO. I want to, buy real estate. I want to do all this stuff. But in all likelihood, it's hard. It's not easy to do. So when he passes his test, I'm like, dude, this guy did it. Like he's actually about it. He's gonna come in and we're gonna get him going. Now I knew that he was smart. I knew you were a smart guy, man. But like when you came in, and I'm like, I cannot believe that he's 23. Like I remember telling you, I'm like, I cannot believe he's 23. Now, would you attribute that to your upbringing and your brother having a business? That's why you got all this, or just were you older for your age growing up, Reece?
I guess a little bit of both. I mean, my brother and I we always knew that we wanted to do business. We just didn't really know what. And with him, I always thought it was crazy. Like he started a company. He takes care of these people. Like he's not just in charge of them, but he's responsible for them. And to me, that's always been like mind-boggling. It's like, damn, like that's a lot of responsibility. Like I don't know if I can do that. To be in charge of that many people, be responsible for their well-being, like it carries with you as well.
Exactly.
So for me, it's like, well, how can I do the business side of it and not have to take care of that many people?
Right.
I realized that wasn't something that I was into.
That you want to do.
Yeah. So then that's when real estate clicked for me. I was like, you know what? Like you handle it like a business. You get these properties, you acquire them, you do all that.
Yeah.
And you basically just run it.
And I mean, the big vision, you're helping other people purchase homes, but you're taking, the income that you're making, helping somebody else, and you're putting it back in real estate. You're doing, the hard part of going and finding, rental properties to buy and keep moving your ball forward. So it's never easy, right? Like even me, buying properties for myself and our business and, my wife and I being partners, it's always hard. It's not easy to go and find a property, rehab it and, rent it out. Like it's a lot of hard work. But it's something that I have a passion for. So when I see you guys have a passion for this, like, of course, like I want us to go all fight together. Like I want us to all, grow together. Now, I know that, you guys have done, loans here at Big Valley Mortgage. I do want to show you guys something. So in 2006, I started my career in 2003. Late 2003, I started my career. And I already had been, closing loans, but it was a slow process. It wasn't like from the morning to the night. I was like closing the 50 deals, and I see your guys' trajectory where you guys are at right now, and you guys are so farther ahead than me, so in 2006, I actually closed, 25 loans, for $4 million. Okay. Now, in the big picture, when we're talking about, 25 loans for somebody that's been in the industry for 3 years, at that time, the internet wasn't what it is now. I mean, we did not have a Facebook. We did not have, Instagram. This was at its infancy. So, I'm closing 25 loans. I'm single. I have a daughter. Like, to me, I thought I was doing it. Now I look at you guys, and you guys are closing loans like left and right and helping people, left and right. 25 loans to you guys is nothing. It's nothing. Like, you guys will be doing this in no time at all. So right now, where do you guys see your guys' selves, in 10 years? I mean, I know that Reece has the dream of buying real estate, but where do you see yourselves, right?
Same thing, I mean, it starts with one. I have to buy my first property. I'm looking at wanting to do like an investment property off the get though, because I don't want to just buy like a single family home. I want to buy like a multi, duplex, triplex, quadplex, something with multiple doors. I'm looking at buying with my little brother. He's working hard, he's stacking his income, he's building his work history. So we're going to basically come in together as investors and start, with that first one, and then kind of just branch off of that and start buying multiple from there. If we need to pull out the money from that to go and buy more, we will. But that's the plan. It starts with one, and then from there we want to at least buy one per year, and in 10 years we should have 10, right?
Now, Reece, you had told me something. What your vision is? What is your vision, man?
So basically, along the same lines, I want to buy real estate. I always wanted to do apartment complexes or multi-families as well. Eventually, though, I want to take all that and I want to get into the hotel business. I don't really understand what caught my eye in the hotel business, but I've always thought it'd be super cool to have like hotels in Miami, New York, LA, like just little destinations, Vegas and stuff like that, and maybe even take you to multiple countries and stuff like that.
And see, it's
long as I can get that penthouse suite.
See, but it doesn't, like when we talk about buy hotels, like number one, that is a great vision. Like you have a vision for something that I haven't even thought of having, right? But like when we say hotels in Miami, it doesn't have to be a big high-rise building. We're talking about a hotel, right? If you have a 5-unit hotel, you have a hotel in Miami, right? So when we think of things like, oh, this can never be done, that's not true. If you have a plan and you have a vision for what you're trying to do, it doesn't have to be a high-rise. But if you get there to buy a high-rise, so be it. Like that's something that you want to grow. So when you actually came to me and you told me, hey, look, I want to buy, hotels, it actually changed my view. Like I was like, dude, this is doable. And I'm the type of person that's always like, if I put something in my head and I put the plans instead, the steps ahead of me, we can make this happen. So when he said it, I was like, this is doable. Right? This is doable. Like, why can't you? Why can't you buy a hotel?
It's one thing to dream big, but it's another thing to actually establish a plan to achieve that dream, like
correct.
You can dream, but it's not going to happen if you don't put any actions into
You got to put the steps into place, So I think right now, helping people, buy real estate right now is going to help you guys see the back end of stuff for you guys to be able to, when you guys go acquire loans, to know, hey, this is how this works. I already know because I helped other people, purchase real estate, So everybody's trajectory is different in real estate. No one is the same. I have, friends in real estate that actually have done it differently. They started with Airbnbs. Like they buy, back in the day, they bought fourplexes, right? So your trajectory was not mine either. Like I started with one property because maybe I didn't understand, like maybe I need more doors. Like you're already knowing, hey, listen, I want doors. Right. I want to make sure to have, tenants in place, So, honestly, that's the wonderful thing about real estate. You can do anything you want by helping other people get what they need, out of real estate. Now, would you say, Johnny, the sales skills that you learned here at Big Valley Mortgage and just being around the team, has it helped you, man?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I've gotten better. I mean, that's one thing that I've been able to do is every job that I've had in sales, I've been able to pull something from there, pull something from Verizon, pull something from even Nissan. I mean, everywhere I've gone, I've been able to pull from different salesmen, different people, pick their brains.
Right.
But yeah, to say what I know now compared to what I knew 2 years ago when I started, night and day, man, night and day. Every day I come to the office, I'm learning something new,
Now you have a lot of sales skills, Reece. Have you learned here from people around you?
Oh yeah, because at first I always thought about this in the transactional side, like this is still a sale, this is still a transaction, but it's so much more than that in real estate, because it's some of these people is the biggest transaction they've ever done in their life. So it's a lot more emotion that comes with it. It's not just an easy, here's a receipt, here's a transaction, we're done with it. And everybody like approaches that differently. You know, there's some people that really cater to the client. There's some people that really cater to the agents and stuff like that, try to make their life easier, to make the loan easier. So I guess just learning from everybody and how they approach different scenarios has also helped.
That's awesome, dealing with that emotional roller coaster.
It's a roller coaster, man. It's like the whole thing, you know.
Sometimes we take it lightly too, because it's like, you know, 25 loans a month or a year, stuff like that. So it's, you've done this, you go through it, you know, it's another transaction. But to some of these people, it's nerve-wracking.
That's their life. Like, you want to be there to help them with, you know, with their life and their next step in their, you know, in their home buying process. Now, I want to do something, and you know, I first want to talk a little bit, because I know that I met your brother, and you're a super cool guy, and just like you're saying, he has the right mentality to lead a team, okay? And he gave me a gift. So I'm gonna have Sal actually give me that gift here.
I mean, it's one thing my brother likes, look at tequila.
So look, in honorance of your brother actually giving me this, he gave me this Tres Generaciones tequila during Christmas. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take a shot, each of us, and we're toasting to the fact that we're gonna continue to grow this out and help people, you know, purchase homes, help people with their real estate, and in turn by doing that, we're gonna help each other, you know, grow our real estate portfolios as well. So we're gonna take a shot of this. You guys down?
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, bro.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. So we're gonna have this here.
Breakfast of champs right here.
Yeah.
Coffee and tequila.
Oh, there you go.
Can I get your blood?
You want that? Oh, dude, give the one that has the most to John.
Nah, I want a baby one. I drink the fruity drinks, dude. Whenever you make fun of me, but where's my crown apple at?
The crown apple.
Yep.
All right. So guys, here's to more years of success together. I appreciate you guys being on this podcast. Thank you guys, man. Dude, that stuff is good. That stuff is really good.
That is good.
Wow, that's the first time I've had that. Good stuff.
Brother finds these tequilas, man. He likes them.
Dude, that's so. Dude, I'll drink that in the morning. It doesn't matter. That stuff is good. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much. Thanks, guys.